football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
They're like, Pat, how'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I picked it up and brought it back to the crib.
Fellas, welcome back to our first ever December Laces Out show. AJ, official AJ Hawk, Pat McAfee show. Fellas, it's great to talk to you guys. Are you into Christmas yet? Is this a factor at all in your lives? I got a lot of shit to get to, but I just want to get personal with you guys right now. Pat, do you care at all?
Yeah.
That it's starting to be Christmas time?
I'm balls deep in the holidays right now, Jerry. My house is decorated. The office is currently decorated. Whenever I see a house decorated, I get a little stiff in my pants because it's just one of those moments where everybody is excited, Jerry. You know, everybody's happy. You go into a Walmart in literally the middle of nowhere and everybody sees the trees and all the different it's just a moment of happiness that the world can come around. Now, granted, I know not all gods are celebrated this month, but a lot of the peoples are that I'm around on a regular basis, and it just seems like everybody's excited, and I love it. I'm a big fan of the holiday season. It wasn't always this way, but I am now.
AJ, you got 4 kids. It must just be like total bizarro world in your house.
Yeah, no question. And my kids, 3 of my kids' birthdays are in December and January. So,
oh Christ!
Yes, we are full go.
Wow.
I've always been a Christmas guy. I told you guys up. We had our tree was up before Thanksgiving, I believe, or the night of Thanksgiving. So yeah, we're all in.
So wait, 3 kids all born in December. I'm doing the math. I'm reverse engineering that conception, and I'm saying, what goes on in your world in March? Are these kids all like St. Patrick's Day babies?
Off season.
My wife is Irish. Basically, what goes on is the same thing that goes on the other 11 months of the year. But you choose when to figure it out.
Yeah, AJ fucks, bro.
He's a 52-week out of the year cream pie machine.
Yeah, he is.
There's no birth control in the Hawk house.
I don't
That's
pull
exactly
out.
what I write to her. Like in our anniversary notes, I write that same thing that Jerry just said.
You're such a romantic. It's sick.
Hey,
I'm into it.
Hold on, Jerry.
Yeah.
AJ, you have 3 kids' birthdays in December and January?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So there was this one kid in college I met. His birthday was like December 23rd, and he said, people call me Christmas, right? It's like his nickname was Christmas. This is a true story. He was on our football team for less than a week. He was a backup punter. He was also I think he was a cheerleader at one point. He said, people call me Christmas. And I just automatically assumed, like, oh, you get fucked for your birthday, for gifts. Does your kids get fucked, like, for the, you know what I mean? Because, like, I'm in May. So, like, I'm in May, June, those birthdays, like, people forget about Christmas by then for gift spending. But, man, when you're back-to-back with the gift-giving holiday, you're in a bad spot. Do your kids get fucked over from that? Do they feel bad? Do they get bullied in school because of it?
Yeah, well, I hope they don't get bullied in school. No, it's all they know. My birthday is in January. I'm January 6th.
Oh.
So it's all you know, man. Yeah, you definitely do end up getting screwed where, especially people you don't see very much, they're like, oh, hey, this is just your Christmas and birthday gifts all in one. Like, okay, cool. Yeah. It's one gift, though. So where's the other one?
Right. Everyone's looking at these kids going, yeah, congratulations, you were born. How about the savior of the world? Okay. How about the guy who was born in a manger of a virgin mom and got nailed to a cross for our sins? You want attention?
Allegedly.
You're pissed off that you're not getting the extra Mario Kart video game? Well, guess what, kid? You didn't save our souls.
There's a lot of questions about that whole birth I have, by the way. A lot of questions.
I'm here to answer them.
You know me. I got a lot of questions.
You know me. Every Sunday morning before we do the show, I'm sitting there at St. Mary's listening intently.
So the dad's name is Joe, right? Joe?
Yeah, Joseph, but Joe to you.
Joe, him. The amount of trust that dude had in his lady is absurd. Imagine the conversations Joe had with his neighbors. Like, yeah, she's pregnant. And they're like, like his boys, you know, like, but what? By who? Have you ever fornicated with her? And Joe's like, nah. God did it. And his boys just he lost a lot of friends through that whole thing. But I guess he gained a son. Is it his son? It's not his son. It's God's son. He didn't even have a son. He's a fucking caregiver. He's a caretaker. He's stepdad on Maury. Like what Joseph, I think, gets the shit end of the stick of all this thing.
Thank you. He is the total unsung hero.
Yes. Noah mostly, but also him.
He's the punter of Christmas.
Yep.
Like nobody except for other guys who allowed their virgin fiancés to get impregnated by God.
Yep.
Appreciate him.
Did Joseph did he have to give the okay for that? Like, you know how swingers have to okay it? Like, did Joseph have to be like, yeah, it's cool, God, you can penetrate her? Like, how did that did it just happen one day? Like, who told Joseph? Did somebody tell? Did he not notice until she had a bump? Like, when did Joseph find out? Are we
talking Joseph Smith from the Mormon LDS Church?
No, he dug that shit up though. That guy's right. I mean, that guy was spot on. Yeah. I mean, he would not lie. But this other Joseph. Anyways, I don't know if they'll ever get answered these questions.
Joseph is to the real Christmas story what the lion with wings was to Rudolph, like kind of the unsung hero that nobody friggin' appreciates. You know what I'm talking about? The Island of Misfit Toys, and you had King Moonracer. Like, he's a fucking lion who can fly. He's tattooed on AJ Hawk's ring, and nobody appreciates him. He's more powerful than Santa, but what has he done? He's stuck on an island. Nobody knows his name. No one gives a shit about him. And so I try to find those Christmas heroes and say, that's the guy that I appreciate. Joseph, thank you, Pat, for pointing out he's the guy that we all need to thank, because without him...
And he's got no game. Dude couldn't close. You know?
Yep. Stuck raising somebody else's kid. No child support, nothing.
Nothing. No support, nothing. What does he get, a chapter in the book? Just that he had a lot of trust in people.
Couple mentions. He's the guy that when you put out that manger scene, you know, the creche in your living room, you can't tell which one is him. Like, he doesn't have a crown. Is he a shepherd? Is he one of the kings?
He's a carpenter, isn't he? Wasn't he a carpenter?
Don't know.
Who's the carpenter? Jesus.
Jesus was.
Of course he was.
But it might have been the family business. I don't know. But I break out that manger scene every year, and I go, I'm really not even sure which one he is. Is he relevant? No. If you lose that piece, you just put the manger out anyway. If you lose the baby Jesus, you're like, I got to buy another one of these things.
Well, we give holidays to everybody. I don't know why Noah doesn't have one either, by the way. Noah deserves a holiday. First documented blackout, Jerry. Hop on my ship, I'll save the world. Okay, 680 years old, blacking out off his own wine. Noah is a G. Gets no credit at all. None. Him and Joseph, two OGs of the book.
He had to wait about 7,000 years, I think, right? Wasn't he he was like way before. He was super Old Testament stuff,
700 years.
No, I'm saying he had to wait till modern times to get the one like real credit he ever got, which is Russell Crowe playing him in a movie.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
A shit movie, believe me. But I mean, when you get Russell Crowe playing you're stamped. Like you're good for the rest of eternity. Beyond that, you're right. He should get a holiday, and I'm all for it. You know me. I like everybody to get a holiday. Mm-hmm. I want as many days off as humanly possible. I was the guy telling everybody in Massachusetts we need Martin Luther King Day off, even though it's in the middle of January. I'm sorry he was born, during a month where we can't really have any fun celebrating his life, but it's still a day off from work.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
I want AJ Hawk's birthday off. January 6th. Right fucking there.
That's wild. You got fucked on Christmas. That's probably why you play middle linebacker. All that anger every year. Same gift for 2 holidays. Man, that sucks. That's why AJ Hawk. Those are the little things you can't find in the scouting report. You know, you can't test for that at the combine. Like, this guy's going to be bitter for getting fucked his whole life.
Yeah, they don't measure that with a stopwatch, man. It's like heart. You can't measure that shit.
Yeah, by the way, AJ, what you were wearing during your fucking pro day or whatever, was outrageous. You need to know that. That photo that just showed up in my Twitter timeline last week of you wearing all white Spanx was outrageous.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. Okay. I agree.
You look like a specimen, though. I want to let you know. You look like an animal, so I get why you were wearing the all-white tights outfit. But
I don't know why. I have no idea why it happened. I really don't.
I just feel like there were other colors that were available for an option, like black.
Well, I was like, what was I, 20? Exactly. You would think, but that's the problem. I wore what they gave me.
Who's they?
The equipment guys.
Ohio State, huh?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I was still in school at the time. I was 21. I had no idea. I was like, this is gonna make me faster if I don't wear like shorts.
Hey, your fan base would go right into Syria, by the way, if Urban Meyer or the Ohio State school told them to. I got a chance to watch these motherfuckers in action. I was at that game, the Ohio State-Wisconsin game, and I was in the crowd, I was in the crowd, and I was right in the middle of an Ohio State section, and I got a chance to watch these people operate. They were mouthing along with the band, like words that you don't even know, like a song that has this Ohio, and they're like all singing, and like they're all doing these hand signals together, like waiting for it's all choreographed. Like they are dialed the fuck in. And these are the most loyal, diehard fans when they're coming to the Big Ten championship. Like traveling, I feel like we could have 30,000 people go to ISIS if Urban Meyer just showed up over there and was like, let's go. Those fans, those Buckeyes fans are a loyal, dedicated bunch. It was wild to watch. They were all in at all times.
They are, yeah. And if all Urban would have to do is give them the go ahead, and they would follow. And if Urban wanted to go from 30 to 60,000, he would just say, hey, before Woody Hayes died, he told me he wanted us to fight ISIS if they ever popped up.
It was awesome to watch, man. That was really cool to watch how fucking loyal that fan base was. It was cool.
Oh, wait, Pat, you said that he could get them to fight ISIS. I was reading that you said you could get them to join ISIS.
No, I think you could.
Either one.
Yeah, I think you could if you really wanted. There are like that Ohio State fan base is ready to go. And you don't have to be worried about being ready to go anymore because I have the perfect thing for you. Everybody's done all the standard gift items, clothes, cologne, a nice bottle of liquor maybe. Done, done, done. All of that's been done, done, done. There's no uniquity in that gift. Did you hear that fucking word right there? Bang. Say it.
I don't think that's a real word.
Define it.
Uniquity is having a lot of uniqueness to your situation that you are bringing. So you bring a lot of uniquity.
I think the word is uniqueness, but I don't want to slow your roll here.
Anyways, all those gifts have been done without any uniquity. We've got something different and much better than any of those this holiday season. Fuego Box has put together a bunch of hot sauce gift holiday boxes at all price points, and for this promo with us right now, they're giving you $10 off plus a limited edition Barstool koozie. Are you kidding me? You get something? What? Nobody wants to do that anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Real uniquity. Don't forget, everyone's favorite gifts are the ones they buy for themselves. So all you have to do is go to fuegobox.com/Barstool and you'll see all of the gift options to choose from. The discount code and free koozie edition will automatically be applied. That's fuegobox.com/Barstool. fuegobox.com/Barstool. Hot sauce and cold beer sounds like the perfect holiday season. Now listen, you don't have to know what type of hot sauce is going to taste good. You don't have to have a sophisticated palate. Let the Fuego Box folks figure that out for you and send you the best hot sauce in the game. Using the fuegobox.com/Barstool, get $10 off and a free koozie. Use the best hot sauce and drink the best beer in the best time of your life. All thanks to fuegobox.com. Uniquity. /Barstool.
I think you're confusing unique and antiquity, but still, get on that hot
so
sauce.
A guy,
F-U ego.
Box.
Yeah, box.
Some guy used that with me, by the way, in an interview this weekend. No big deal. I get interviewed now. Big deal. I had an interview this weekend, and a guy used that word on me live. And I turned the entire interview directly into him using that word on me, thinking he was smarter than me. Me saying, I don't think it's a real word, just like you did. And then finding out, I guess, that it is a real word. It's a good word.
And I'm not ruling out that I'll be using it like Monday morning.
I told him that too. I said, I'm going to use that word for sure on a regular basis, by the way, just for future reference.
Yeah. I will be writing about the Patriots game Monday morning, and I promise you I'm going to use uniquity in a word. And we're just going to keep on putting it into common usage until it ends up in the Oxford English Dictionary.
I like that.
And by the way, another great thing about this season, in addition to Fuego Box hot sauce gifts, is December football, man. I am so into this year. This was a spectacular weekend of games, and there's a metric shit ton to get to, not the least of which is a big dramatic benching of a quarterback that everyone's losing their friggin' minds over, a coach that has a lot to answer for. Bills Mafia had a great showing and has created a tradition unlike any other, but I got to start with Joe Flacco stole the weekend in the post game. This is the greatest thing ever. Does Joe Flacco have history with Jameis Winston? For people who didn't see it, I don't know what you did this weekend, but you wasted your life to not see him in a post game after a huge win, rolling up, putting up 44 points, and chose to eat his fingers like Jameis Winston. Does anybody outside of like the three of us, can anyone tell us what the fuck he was? Why he has a beef with Winston?
I absolutely. I just love the fact that Joe Flacco, a man who is known for being boring, right? I mean, that's what he is. He's a boring guy. That eating of the W to Joe Flacco was so absurd. He watched that and was like, this fucking guy. He remembered it, and whenever it was time to dial it up, he did directly. I love it. I just love that boring Joe Flacco. Love that so much. It caught his attention so much with how terrible it was that he did that. I enjoyed it a lot. I might buy a Joe Flacco Elite shirt tomorrow from BarstoolSports.com for that, just because of that.
Is it because, AJ, do you think this goes beyond just these two guys? Do you think everybody in football was like as embarrassed about Winston doing that as like we talked about right after he did it, and this is going on around the league, and they're just saying, this is my chance to throw shade at this guy for doing this stupid shit?
Yeah, obviously guys saw that and they talked about it and gave their opinion, I'm sure, in the locker rooms. But I think Joe said a guy dared him. One of his buddies on the team dared him. I don't know if he got any money for it, but they probably just thought this is so absurd. If you would pick anybody in the NFL to do that in a post-game press conference, I would guess Joe Flacco is the very bottom of that list.
If Joe Flacco made money off of this, I love Joe Flacco even more.
Yeah.
If Joe Flacco turned this into a hustle, I love this even more. Good. Joe Flacco's rising.
He did it at the beginning of the press conference too, like right when he walked to the podium.
First thought.
I haven't watched since then. I wonder what the rest of the press conference was like.
Directly after that, after he knows that this thing is over. This is as soon as you do that, you know that that's the only thing that's going to get talked about afterwards. What are we even asking question for? You're welcome for what I just did. Keep it moving. See you later.
He committed. That's what I respected about it. He committed, like Gus Johnson commits to his calls when he does college football, when he has these crazy sayings that go viral. Joe 100. You can watch him take his fingers, like put him in the little West Side deal, and then eat each finger, and then just kind of give a little smirk. It was beautiful.
Yes,
yeah, you know why amazing. I love it though too is, from the perspective that I have, which is sitting on the couch from 1 o'clock till midnight on a Sunday or whatever, that kind of crap like Winston pulled never gets criticized. There's never, I don't know, Tony Romo is never going to go and say, you know what, that was idiotic and embarrassing. And, maybe you'll get like Boomer Esiason. He sort of has an edge to him during those pregame and halftime shows. But generally speaking, everyone like just applauds the inspirational speaker, whether he deserves it or not. So it's great for me to talk to you guys and get the perspective that you think that kind of motivational stuff is nonsense. And then to get Flacco sort of confirm it. Like, I need to hear more of that. I need to have guys give each other more shit, because it's not all just these guys aren't all spinning gold with every speech they
make. We're in a woke society, Jerry. This fraudulent showcase of what like people act like in football is kind of going out the window now, and you're getting to actually, and I think it's going to make the game a lot more likable because it's like real humans out there instead of these fictitious bullshit cliche characters. I think this is actually going to make football more likable now because it's a woke society, man. Those bullshit fucking full-length feature film motivational speeches bullshit like that don't work in real life, man. Which is a job. This is a job for us, man. This is a job, and I think that's what's gonna come to more and more to the forefront here as we move forward. And I think it's good for the game, by the way. I think it's very good for the game.
Yeah, and I don't mean to complain about it being too little too late, but I could have used this during Ray Lewis's career, where I sat there laughing at it the whole time, and I kept getting spoon fed to me that this really fires up his teammates, and they love this stuff, and to me he was laughable. Like I used to watch that and say that guy couldn't motivate me to wipe the corner on my mouth if he said you got food right there.
Now listen, though, Ray Lewis, when he's talking like very intense, like, I mean, you're going to have a moment. He did a motivational speech to the Colts whenever we were heading into playoffs because Chuck Pagano asked him to come. Man, it was an intense 15 minutes. But directly afterwards, I completely forgot that it happened. Like, I wasn't about to run through a wall 3 days later because of it, you know? But it was like a moment where I was like, oh, okay, this is why he did. Okay, this is like his thing. Like, I felt like I was at like a 15-minute, like a hot 15. Like, he was just going up to do a hot 15 on a stage. You know, like, that's his thing. Like, that's his show. And there was a moment there where I was like, oh, this is intense as hell. This is cool. But, I mean, we didn't play until, I think, like 48 hours later. If I was hanging on to that for 48 hours, I mean, I think I'd be worried about me. I'd be worried about me if I was still ready to go there. It's all bullshit, Jerry.
Yeah. I'm with you. I've never worked at a job where anyone gave us a motivational speech of any kind, and so I don't know how I would ever respond to one.
I give motivational speeches up in this bitch all the time. Hey, everybody's replaceable, you know? Hey, everybody, let's remember that. Except for a couple of you. Now you can figure out which few I'm talking about. Have a good one. You know, that's the way you motivate in most offices, I think. I don't do that personally, but there's been plenty of times where I thought that, and then I hold back because I don't want to bury anybody. But I would like if other offices would start doing that. I want to see how that plays out. Research. I would like to see a little research.
I'll say this for Flacco, and one of you guys mentioned it. He picked the perfect time because winning 44-20 from a team that has struggled to score points and has an elite defense. I mean, I think these guys are starting to round it to shape. Yeah. Oh, and special teams. Christ. They've already got 3 shutouts on the year. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the AFC playoff picture, and AJ, you freaked out earlier in the year about us discussing like who the best teams are. Is it safe to say in week 13 we can start looking at how the playoffs are shaping up? Because Baltimore's in right now if the season ended today. Yeah. And that's a team I just always fear because I think when they get in there, no matter how average they are, they have a weird way of flipping a switch.
Yeah, now that football finally means something now. We're in December, so the teams start to separate who's good and who's not. And who knows? I don't know if the Ravens are going to make it. The good thing for them is the AFC is just brutal with like mediocre teams. So who knows? There's so many people still in play right now for the playoffs in the AFC.
The Colts are officially out, so Harbaugh can sleep a little bit softer at night. You know what I mean? So, but the AFC is wide open. What if one of the Steelers and Ravens play each other again? That's going to be a gigantic meeting of the minds right there, I assume. I mean, you're talking about there's a couple teams in the AFC that are getting going, right? What if Jacksonville, that defense is unstoppable. That defense is incredible down there. And they just put up work. I like the Ravens a lot because their special teams and defense is so good. But you also got to look at Jacksonville. Their defense is incredible too. But is it going to matter? Are they going to be able to stop Tom Brady? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows?
Pat, to answer your question, they play next week. Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
That's going to be a big one. The whole city of Pittsburgh is going to be shut down on Friday. There's going to be a fucking pep rally. Saturday, there's going to be like a Ravens car in the middle of the city downtown where people will pay like $5 to hit it with a fucking bat. You're talking about that is going to be an outrageous fucking scene in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania next Sunday.
All right, and on that point, I got to ask you guys. Everyone agrees the game of the year remaining on the schedule is Week 15, New England at Pittsburgh. Teams are tied.
I want to go to that. When's that?
That's the week 15. So that's the week after next. So Pittsburgh has Cincinnati on Monday night. Then they've got Baltimore. Then they've got the Patriots. Well, Mike Tomlin gave an interview where he said, I'm already looking at week 15. It's all going to be riding on that because then we're going to have that game, and then that's going to be the preview to the playoffs, and it's going to decide home field. And I sat there with like my jaw open going, who does that? Like, what coach talks about a game 3 weeks from now?
He's a fucking good one. I don't know if anybody else is doing it, but Tomlin's got a hell of a fucking record, that guy.
Yeah, not so much against New England, and Belichick is sitting there.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean, though? What you just said? What you just said? What does that even? Just because you come from New England, you're saying that Mike Tomlin doesn't have the pedigree to do what he just did? That motherfucker's won Super Bowls. He's a great. He's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Because he's not against New England. He fucking it doesn't matter.
He's faced Brady 5 times.
Just because he's not Belichick doesn't mean that he ain't a fuck. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants.
In his career against Brady, Brady's thrown for 24 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Like I think like
so Tomlin needs to go lock somebody up out there. He needs to go guard Edelman. You know what I mean? Maybe Mike Tomlin needs to go lock down Edelman or Randy Moss or fucking somebody like that. Mike Tomlin needs to get out there. Take the headset off.
Two division games between now and then, and he's already talking about that game. Like that just seems like amateur shit to me.
Jerry, what's amateur? First off, I got to cut you off. What's amateur is saying no. I'm just trying to have a good Monday meeting tomorrow morning.
That's a lie. These are all lies.
It's one game at a time, one day at a time. Nope, it's not. And Tomlin actually has the balls to say it.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I respect.
Like, yeah, these next 2 games are pretty big, but let's go ahead. We're all talking.
Yeah.
That one in New England is one we're going to have to think about. He's not wasting his day on New England. They're focused on the next game, but there's definitely conversations about what the fuck they think they could do against New England. I mean, that's a couple week preparation.
And that's why I bring it up, not to be the Patriots fanboy, because I want to get your perspective on that.
Now, granted, Belichick doesn't talk.
I've never heard a guy.
And he wins a lot.
I mean, I can't remember a head coach talking about a game 3 weeks in advance. You know, as much as
they're scared if they lose a game, the media's going to say, "Oh, were you focused on the New England game in 2 weeks?"
Right.
What do you mean focused? We were playing a game. Me as the coach, I did not take one snap this whole season. But were our players focused? No, they were in a game right now. When you're playing in a game
where they don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to play as hard as they can.
Let me mail this one in because I have a big one coming in 2 weeks. That doesn't happen.
Has a coach ever talked about a game in advance?
No.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, maybe a little bit.
Mike McCarthy ever do that too? You know, Pat, what would
Jim Caldwell?
What would Pagano say to you behind the scenes?
Pagano is he's the same way he is in those press conferences, the same way he's in a meeting. I mean, there ain't no it's all very this week oriented, completely. I think like focus on today, focus on right now. So there's never a thought ahead. But players amongst each other are like, okay, so we got this one this week, then we got blah, 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 and then we got New England. Like that is a happening conversation amongst players. So I assume amongst coaches that shit's happening too. I mean, I don't eat at their lunch. I don't eat their dinner. I don't stay in their fucking shit. But I'm assuming they're like, okay, so if we can get through this one this weekend without limited injuries, maybe go big here, okay, and then when New England comes, we'll be in full stride. Like those are real conversations that happen on a very regular basis. We don't live in this cliche, fake fairy tale world where we could just not act like the real life is going to happen. But you have to focus on the task at hand so you don't get fired. That's a pretty big ordeal.
All right, then similar to that then, kind of tangential to that. Let's say you're with Baltimore. Like, does anybody in that locker room take it as like disrespect that, you know, he's looking?
You know what? We should play harder because Mike Tomlin.
I guess I'm asking you, is bulletin board fodder real? That's my question.
No.
Like there might be personal vendettas between dudes. That's a very real thing. Personal vendettas between dudes are definitely a thing. But when it comes to an entire team versus another team, I mean, unless there's big beef, like the Bengals Steelers, I think there's like gigantic beef between those dudes. But bulletin board material is I think, I've never seen it be a real thing in my life, in my entire life. I mean, That's
it won't. It's never changed the way a team plays. The only time, if say someone or a coach disrespects a team or whatever, they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to worry about it. But maybe at the very end of a game, if you hate another team, then you give them a few cheap shots at the end, or once you beat them, you get a taunting penalty towards the end when the game's locked up. Things like that, where then the emotion kind of gets to it. Okay. Segueing directly into you, Jerry. What's up? What happened with Gronk?
What's going to happen? Maybe he's going to be suspended, huh? What's going to happen with the Gronk? What a fucking...
The guy's in the concussion protocol.
Yeah, probably he'll get suspended. Although, I mean, I'm reading guys like Mike Florio who are saying that a factor in this is that he doesn't have any kind of a history of that stuff. Although there was a game against the Colts, Pat, you might remember.
He drove Sergio Brown.
Sergio, but threw him into the camera stand and said, "I've thrown him out the club because he was yapping the whole game or whatever." Yeah. And by the way, Belichick off the air one time said to me, like, just rolled his eyes. Got Sergio Brown, who played for the Patriots. I think he just had no use for him. Gronk, you don't go diving on a guy who's
one of my best gunners I've ever had, by the way, Sergio Brown. He's only down, I think, 15 to 20 balls inside the 5 for me. But no, I understand that Bill Belichick said he wasn't good, so that means Jerry Thornton can say he isn't good. I mean, that's just you better watch the way you talk about Sergio Brown and I did have a lot of history together. You're talking, that Rolex wearing, limousine riding, now give me 2 claps into Ric Flair. Woo! That started with I was there for the beginning of that situation, the brain fodder. So let's not, you better watch, Bill Belichick can say whatever the fuck he wants about Sergio Brown, okay? But you, Jerry, okay? That guy did a lot of good stuff for me in my life. He made me afford a lot of this studio, Sergio Brown did. So let's just have a little bit more respect for what Sergio Brown is, okay?
Do you know how many punts he's downed inside the 15 from me? 0.
Well, we're using some dollars that he made to produce this show right now. So I think he has helped you out a lot more as a Colt than any player has probably for the Patriots. Now that I think
what have you done, Jerry? What have you done for Sergio Brown?
Yeah. What have you done?
What has Brown done for me? Now, in fairness, all I'm doing is repeating what Belichick said to me. Having said that, and does he yap a lot? Because
I think he talks a lot.
Gronk hit that moment where he just said, "I'm sick of this guy in my ear," and tossed him into the.
That Gronk catch before he did that was one of the nastiest catches I've ever seen in my entire life. That was an legit interception in the air, at peak of jumping, robs dude of interception for a risk. It was incredible. That was an incredible catch. I guess he always does that against his hometown of Buffalo, but that was a cheap shot there,
So Jerry,
so now the
do you believe though, Jerry? Do you believe that Gronk should be suspended?
Okay, for what he did, that's suspendable, but he doesn't have a history, so it might be one of those things where they just give him the heavy fine, and now he's in the on deck circle of getting suspended. It wouldn't be the end of the world for me if they say, okay, 1 game for that because we're trying to limit concussions, which by the way, I'm all about. I am fine with guys not slamming each other in the helmets, and I don't sit there and go, well, what uniform was that guy wearing? And he plays for my team, so screw that. I will say this, and this is a factor in this. There is a set of rules in pass coverage that only apply to Gronkowski. You can grab him and you can interfere with him in ways that other guys can't. And he gets more offensive pass interference penalties against him than any player in football. Remember Shaq? Remember how Shaquille O'Neal could get accosted and they just wouldn't call the penalty, but the foul, excuse me. But if he so much as threw an elbow, it was on him. I think with Gronk, they're just saying you can't cover him otherwise. On the play in question that we're talking about, Tre'Davious White, the rookie, not only grabbed him, he shoved him and then made the interception, and Gronk lost his shit about it. Should you hit a guy who's laying on the ground? No, but that was born out of frustration about several things that happened in that game. He drew 3 penalties in the second half. 3.
That would hurt so bad, by the way. I just thought of that.
It was the back of the head. That's what would hurt.
He is a Clydesdale of a human. He legit. He is a monster of a man, and he's so good at football, game changing at football. But here I am thinking of me laying on the ground in a happy moment. By the way, I just got an interception against Tom Brady. I'm pretty happy. This is an excitable moment here. Tom Brady, I just got okay, and then boom, back of your head out of nowhere, gone, seal. That would hurt so bad. I'd shit my pants.
6'7", 265, I think.
Jesus.
And furious. Like he was all goddamn riled up.
Hey,
on
Jerry.
that.
So how juiced were you for the Tom Brady Josh McDaniels fight?
Pissa. It was great because it's not the first time. If you might remember 2012, 2011, when Bill O'Brien was the coach, and they were screaming at each other on the sidelines. And you know what? I like that. As I tweeted out at the time, I go, if I'm in one of those other 31 markets and I see Brady screaming at McDaniels, I'm going to my panic room right now. Because he's not. He doesn't take any games off. He doesn't mail it in.
No days off.
Yeah. I mean, like, you would think he's won more games than anybody in the history of the game, and one that they were probably 9.5-point favorites. He's still F-bombing his offensive coordinator in the second quarter.
I want the world to know, though, that he did not have a good game. He and Josh McDaniels did not have a good game because just how you said they were 9.5-point favorites, how you use Las Vegas as a line on whether or not he should give effort. A Vegas line that was also given on how many points they should score today against the Buffalo Bills was at 28.5, Jerry. And you know what they didn't do for the first time in like 6 weeks? They didn't tell Vegas to fucking shove it. They only scored 23 goddamn points and then put in a backup quarterback to kneel it the fuck out. And I was not happy. It was my super lock of the year.
And you've been riding that streak, right?
Hard, yeah. This is the first week This is the first week they let me down. He's a human. I understand that Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels are humans, but I want Josh McDaniel to make sure Tom's happy from now on. Because when Tom was happy and not yelling at him, we were all riding a nice wave of success in this gambling train, and I need them to continue to do that.
Hey, Jerry, so let's see. How would this have been different if this was Cam Newton fighting with his offensive coordinator?
Oh, wow. What a question.
Or maybe for you, Jerry, or Tyrod Taylor, anyone.
I don't guys just do that all the time? Like, isn't
but
that...
would they have, don't you think they would have gone hard at the player, though? No,
I feel like it happened last week. Quarterback and was it Smith, Alex Smith and Reed? No, I'm flaking on this, but I swear there was like a shouting match on the sidelines just last week, and I just chalk it up to that shit goes on all the time. I don't think anyone was sitting there at home going, Brady and Josh McDaniels hate each other. And I'm not here to be a Patriots apologist.
I think there's plenty of casual fans that definitely think they hate each other. They don't understand that stuff like that happens all the time, and 2 minutes later, they're completely fine. They'll probably hugged in the locker room. Hey, man, it's a game. Sorry, man. It's how I get caught up. And they both are completely cool.
I'll never forget when I yelled at Chuck Pagano. Yep, right at his face. We did a fake field goal, and Ed Hockley said I fumbled, and I didn't want that stat forever on my resume. So I told Chuck to challenge it, and I yelled at him. I said he needs to challenge it because I got to live with this forever. And he said, "We can't challenge it, you dumbass. It was your turnover. Every turnover is reviewed." I said, "Well, are they going to change the fucking stat of a fumble after they review this? Or are they just going to give them the ball turnover on downs, or is it a fumble recovery? I need to know the answer." And he said, "I'm not a fucking stats guy, Pat. I don't fucking know. Go away." And I just walked away.
So
you didn't F-bomb him?
Were you more worried, Pat, about the stat on your record or the fact that you gave the other team the ball?
No. A failed fake field goal is always going to give the other team the ball. I mean, I only operate whenever it's life or death, AJ. I'm only operating on the very thin line of if I don't do my job properly, the other team's going to get the ball. That is what you like to call cardiac city. But yes, I am upset that is on my resume forever. We weren't supposed to run that fake then. We ran it. It did not work. I hit a spin move out of nowhere, circle button, boop, boop, get me out of here. Get tackled, I get down, my elbow's down on the ground, ball pops up, pileup happens on my ass, and then all of a sudden I got a fumble stat forever, and Ed Hockley just lets it ride. And now I got to live with this forever and ever. I have to fucking live with that. It's unbelievable.
AJ, did you ever come off a field having a coach give you crap about a blown assignment and F-bomb him and scream at him?
Usually, and it was never them coming at me first. If you messed up, and if they're coming at me, that it's hard to go back at them. But yeah, if they're wrong, of course, all the time you would go crazy on coaches, and 3 seconds later you're fine. Especially in college, it would happen a lot.
Especially in college, wow. AJ Hawk,
coach, like it was because we were really
kids, 18 years old.
I was close with them, and so if a call came in late or whatever, when I'm trying to call the defense, yeah, you freak out and yell at them and let them know.
I'll be the guy.
I made the call.
What was his name? Let's reenact this. What was his name?
No, I can't. Luke Fickell. He's the head coach of Cincinnati right now.
Okay, perfect. So Luke Fickell would call in. Give me a play call. What it would sound like?
I can't remember any of those.
Good. That's no concussions, by the way.
I'm just setting you up.
Yeah, obviously. No concussions.
No, I would give an example. I'm not going to role play with you, Pat. I'm not a little parrot.
Role play.
I'm not a circus monkey. And if something happened, and say like if you have the headset, and say you're in the NFL and you have the headset, and there's no call in, and you're giving them like come on, let's do this, and then you just make a call. You have to make a call. There's a point in where they're coming to the line. Hey, I got to give it, and that happens all the time. And so if I made the call and then something bad happened or whatever, I'm like, hey, you got to let them know. Doesn't matter.
How would you let them know?
Call in.
How would you let them? Hey, AJ, why would you make that call, AJ? You should never make that call. That's a dumb play call.
I would just stay super calm and say, how about you do your job and give me a play call on time?
Oh, aren't you just always right? Aren't you just always right, Mr. Hawk? Oh.
No, Pat, you know how it is. In the heat of a game, both guys yell back and forth at each other, freaking out when you both feel like you're right. And then at the end, you're both usually wrong, and you give the guy a hug and say, hey, man, we're good. And hopefully you win that game.
I like that.
When those happen, when things like that happen, you better hope you win, because when you win, it's all funny, and you may watch it or talk about it in the room the next day. If you lose, then you're actually probably they're going to kill you.
That's when facts start coming out. Yeah, I remember watching a coach and a player get into it. We go up to lose. Next day, team meeting, we went over the exact situation. And the coach was very much attempting to prove that he was 100% right in a situation and the player was wrong. You got to hope
what's
for a win.
crazy about that? I used to talk with my strength coach about that. If you win, it's like a lot of times you can gloss over
everything.
Like you don't gloss it over, but it's like, oh, okay, cool, hey. Especially if you get a victory Monday, if it's late in the year. But if you lose, it's like one play can shift everything that happens in that place the next day, the whole next week, really.
The whole life of everybody that's married to anybody that works there, everybody's life is shifted just because of a win or a loss. Winning cures life. Winning cures every food tastes better when you're winning. Sex is better, Jerry, but when you lose in the NFL, it is miserable because every little flaw is the reason why we're losing. So everybody's getting blamed for everything. And it's just like, your fault. Right. And everybody's just like,
shoes. That's when like the coach gets in front of the team. We got 3 guys coming out to warm-ups and their shoes aren't even tied yet. Like literally stuff like that happens.
We went to check and you were taking a shit at curfew. You weren't laying in bed with the lights off. Like that type, those little things. And maybe we checked your iPad study hours, and it was down 3 hours as a team, complete from the week before. What does that mean, huh? We just can't do the little things, the extra little things.
Let alone now, though, with Instagram and Twitter, can you now they'll pull up slides. We got a guy on Friday night tweeting with a gun in his hand.
Something's
and a joint
lit.
Is left.
That something's lit. Is it lit? You know what's not lit? Lose it. I bet you that happens all the time now.
It's so true.
Yeah,
or if you tweet after, say you lose and you tweet after a game, it's death.
Oh my! Here we are, 2 hours after the worst loss our team has suffered this year. You know all the hard work we put in, all the hours we put in the building, and this is what your fucking cornerback has to say 2 hours after a loss. Ha ha! It's lit. Is it? Is it lit? It's not lit. That's the difference between winning and losing in the NFL, Jerry.
Right. It's like if your wife is mad at you, then everything comes into play. Like if it's
Pat, why did you retire? Because Grigson was calling the shots on whether or not I had happiness or not for the last 5 years. And it was
Jerry,
terrible.
what Pat just demonstrated is, I promise you, almost verbatim happens in every single locker room in the NFL and college, especially.
College, I couldn't even fathom college now. But that is a real thing that happens right there. I'm so happy that just came out because that is a real thing. I'm happy we got to that point right there because that needs to be talked about. How losing
that's so perfect.
Is
it really lit? Like that's 100%. that conversation, that team meeting is happening right now.
Yes, right now it's being either organized by the coaches amongst each other. They're all doing research for each other to see what's happening. Or it's being thought about. Your happiness is 1,000% dependent upon whether or not you win or lose in a game. It's your whole life. That's why when you lose, it sucks so bad because you can't be openly happy.
So if you have a screaming match with a coach and you win, it's like makeup sex.
It's all good,
right?
Yeah,
and if you lose, then it's like going to bed mad.
Yep.
And you go to the opposite ends of the bed, and
then waking up in the morning and having to tiptoe around the room and realizing, oh no, I hope my urine stream's not too strong in the morning and wakes her up.
I'm gonna pee on the side of the bowl here. I'm gonna try not to hit the water because I don't want to really ruffle any feathers right now. That's what but you're forced to go into a meeting with the person and you're forced to let him have a laser pointer in front of everybody else with a microphone and a stage and you just sitting there ready to take it.
Who did we talk about? One of our early podcasts, it might have been Joe Thomas, and just saying, like, here's a guy who best left tackle of his generation, in my opinion. I think most people's opinion, made a lot of money, but hasn't probably enjoyed a lick of his career, right? Because through no fault of his own, if you're not winning, you're not having any fun at all. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's been losing for so long that I feel like he's
immune to it.
He's almost immune, and he's found ways to enjoy the individual successes he's had, which he would love to win games, obviously, but he's found a way around it, I guess, where, you're almost immune. Like, hey, let's just find the bright spots.
You know what? You know what didn't happen today? Nobody, we got no torn ACLs today, right? Nope. Okay, good. That's a win, huh? A serious injury. I bet you is that what they're doing in Cleveland? I would. Let's look at the positives here. Okay, no rolled ankles. Okay, we're in a good spot, guys. Everybody's healthy. Yeah, all right. Yeah, didn't win. No. But everything's okay.
Now it's really bright. Think about it, Cleveland now. Hey, we got Josh Gordon. We might win the Super Bowl next year. He's back.
Dude, he was fucking on some shit and dominating football, bro. Dominating people while very intoxicated. So much more respect to that guy. Just killing people with football while living a very hilariously hard life. I mean, good for him. I'm happy he's come out of it too, by the way.
And I got to say, I am pulling for the guy just because do we know if he's ever tested positive for anything worse than weed?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and I mean, I sit here and I say, if my whole livelihood depended on not sparking up, I wouldn't spark up. I don't think I would have a problem with that. And the fact that he hasn't been able to shows that he's got a real substance abuse problem. But to lose like a season out of your career over that, to me, is just insane. For something that, for all we know, and I pray that this happens, I pray that it turns out that smoking weed helps with concussions. And then the league has to try to reconcile those two things. Because I want to see Josh Gordon on the field, not if he's beating up women, not if he's doing anything really bad, not if he's, committing vehicular homicide. I just want to see him on the field because all he's done is smoke weed. And we're being denied that over
smoke weed every day.
Didn't he say though he was an addict? He got in the protocol and then he tested positive for alcohol once or twice. So he's an addict, Jerry. Isn't that the question? Like, is it a disease, addiction?
I guess. I mean, okay, if alcohol is part of it, then maybe that's,
alcohol is definitely part of it for him.
That to me is
dude, he was drinking bottles of vodka or whatever.
I'm sorry, Pat?
He was drinking bottles of vodka in like high school. And in that substance abuse program, when you're getting tested, you get tested for everything. Like if alcohol is in there, you fail for that. So who knows if he probably got in because of weed, but who knows if all his fails are because of weed. It could have been for alcohol. It could have been for anything.
Right, because that's what happened with Brett Favre, right? He was on for painkillers. He went to the league and said, and I've had so many like injuries. I'm taking these prescription pills, and I've developed a problem. And they said, well, you can't drink beer. And he was like, wait, what? Like what the hell? How about test me for pills? But they've just got this one stupid, clumsy.
Yeah, a lot of people making money in there. A lot of people making money in that policy.
Weird though, isn't what's interesting to me? So the Chargers beat the Browns 19-10, and people are talking like the Chargers are back. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're so good. They barely beat the 0-11 Browns, who 0-12 now. So are we crowning them the champs?
You know what? I think they're benefiting from low expectations because they're not in the playoffs right now. I think they're the top seed among the teams that aren't in it right now. And I think we just thought, all right, there's a 4-12 team. You know, there's 5-11, and they moved to a city where nobody gives a shit about them, and they're playing in a high school soccer stadium, and they're not selling that out. So yeah, I'm semi-impressed by them, but you're right. You don't throw a parade because you barely squeak one out against friggin' Cleveland. And by the way, while we're talking about Cleveland and before we move off Buffalo, I got a call today right after the game from a guy who's got a talk show up in Buffalo. I've done a bunch of phone-ins with him. If you want to know what despair sounds like, it was that phone call from that guy today. It was just pure, like the utter lack of hope exists up there. And he's like, he goes, I don't know how many more times I can take this. Brady beat us for the 27th time in his career. Like they benched Tyrod Taylor for a guy who throws 5 interceptions and a half, and now they're back to Tyrod Taylor. Now he's hurt. Now they're back to the other guy. And I said, dude, I just don't know what to tell you other than Bills Mafia. They did it, man. They came back. A tradition unlike any other. For the second straight Patriots game, someone threw a dildo on the field.
Dildo!
The
Dildo's back. You're right.
That's going to be the tradition. That's their Lambeau leap.
I think Bills Mafia shouldn't stop. They should continue doing everything that they're doing. They've made the Buffalo Bills relevant whenever their team shouldn't be for a long, long time because their fan base is so awesome. Every single week, we know we're going to see videos of humans launching themselves off of RVs through tables and celebrating and getting intoxicated in like 4 feet of snow when everybody should be inside their house, all because they want to go watch a team that they've been pulling for that's probably going to lose. They are a thing unlike anybody else. Whenever PFT and Big Cat and Hank and Liam showed up there today to film stuff for Pardon My Take and for Barstool, they were on fire up there. There was dudes headbutting metal things and punting them. I mean, it's just Bills Mafia should not stop whatever they're doing forever. And the Buffalo Bills owner, I don't know who they are, they should be every morning. Whenever they wake up, they take their morning shit, brush their teeth, and if they pray to whatever God, they should continue to pray and thank him for that fucking fan base for sticking with them for so long in situations where they probably shouldn't. They're just because they're an awesome people.
You know what? I'm flaking on the guy who bought the team a couple of years ago.
John Bon Jovi.
Nailed it.
Trump tried to destroy Bon Jovi because he got the inside track on buying that team when Trump was closed out. For real. Like, they've got it that he has conspired with people in that area to protest Bon Jovi and burn his CDs and crap like that. No, I'll think of the guy's name who bought it, but I will tell you this. In the 46th biggest media market in America, this guy spent $1.4 billion on the Bills. With a crappy stadium and not a real big city or whatever, and a team that's most known for 2 things. They've gone the longest of any team in professional North American sports without making the playoffs, and guys diving through tables.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
Gary Pagula?
There you go. That's it. And a team that fired Rex Ryan right after the season. Okay, fine, that made sense. Sent out the GM to explain why they fired Rex Ryan, only to find out that he didn't know why they fired him because no one asked him about it. Then they have him run the team all the way through the draft, and then they fire him the next day after the draft, after he'd built the team, and now they're this shit show. And that's why I love the way this fan bases respond. And I love the fact that the Big Cat tweeted out a picture of a guy covered head to toe in mustard. I'm not sure. He looked like Big Bird.
I love that.
He looked like the CD cover of Office Space. And I'm like, God bless these people.
I was excited to see how many references you were going to make right there. I was excited to see how many you were going in.
Me too.
I think there's a limit to how many ways I can describe someone covered in yellow. I think that's it. I beg.
None of them after 1972.
Yellow kind of lost it there for a little while. Yellow kind of fell off, by the way.
Office
I don't
Space,
think yellow has been somebody's favorite color in a long time.
I blacked out, Jerry. I didn't hear you after the third one. Did Pat, you played there, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're not good, it's a great place to play. Their fans are legit. They come no matter what. It's been like that for a long. They've always had the Bills Mafia. Now I think social media has just put it out there for more people to see. But they've always had great fans. They've always been. It's a great place to play.
I played there in a blizzard last game of the year when after we were trying to lose. Like, we went undefeated my rookie year, and then we tried to lose the last two games. And it was in Buffalo in a blizzard. I had a lot of money on the line for elevators in my contract. Nobody gave a fuck if we won, and I was back there just shitting my pants. And Buffalo Bills fans showed up in full force. But it was a wild fucking day.
How'd you get your agent to put elevators in your contract? That's impressive.
Well,
not escalators?
Yeah, I took the elevator straight up because there was no gradual incline. What are you talking about?
Good for you. Good for your agent, whoever that was.
Yeah, you go straight from the bottom to the top, man. Outhouse to penthouse. You get over 45-yard average here, you're good to go. I'm like, you got it, cuz we're going to go through a blizzard.
When you go to Buffalo, do you interact with them a lot? Like, I've never been there, so I don't know what the physical layout of the place is. Like, the reason I ask is I've heard media guys say, you don't take an elevator straight up into the press box. You got to take it up like one flight and then walk through the crowd and then take another one up another flight and walk through the crowd. And they say it's fucking petrifying. Like
it sounds like those media guys are a bit soft as a fucking bag of milk is what it sounds like. Exactly. I'm petrified to go up an elevator and walk and then go up another elevator. Also, I can watch a sport and write about it. I'm fucking petrified. Who the fuck? That's why the NFL's ratings are going down. Motherfuckers covering it can't even walk through a crowd of humans. The fuck is this?
Believe me, I'd love that. I would love nothing more than to walk through.
Yeah,
that
like
crowd
every time they report, like on Sunday morning to Buffalo, like today, the NFL Network did it, and they're coming to you live from inside the stadium, like 25, 30 minutes before the game. Like, there's nobody in there. Like, go to the parking lot. That is why this game matters, because of the parking lot. Like, you guys are missing the boat completely. Go.
They're scared. They're scared, Pat, especially if it's a live shot. They're so scared of people walking up behind their shot and saying something.
Fuck her right in the pussy. Isn't that guy?
They're going to bring that back.
That guy ruined live shots for mainstream media forever. What a fucking move that guy. Came in like a goddamn Unabomber too. Boom! Ruined the shot. Keep it moving. Start a trend. Fuck up the news across the country.
All right, not for nothing. A guy sent me an article last week, something that I could maybe blog, and I didn't get to it. But this woman's up in Canada. She's interviewing a guy, news person. She's interviewing this guy, and some guy in a truck runs by, and so her cameras will pick it up. He yells, "Fuck her right in the pussy," right? Because it's 2010 or whatever. Well, the guy she was interviewing was a cop who just arrested the guy.
For what?
For breaking Canadian law. I don't know. Maybe in Canada you can't yell "fuck right in the pussy" on live TV. I don't know. I don't want to live in a country where that's arrestable. God damn it! We brave men fought and gave their lives for the freedom in America to yell 5-year-old catchphrases on television.
You know what though? Just like icing people, and like, did you ever get a chance to talk to D, Jerry? Did you ever get a chance to do that?
Talk to D.
Yeah.
Apparently not. Who's D?
D's nuts. Like, that is also like from 10 years ago. Like, all these things.
How did I walk into that, AJ? You should have stopped me.
It was a slow roll too. I mean, it was bad. But like, all those things, like you say, from 2010, those will always be good. Like, those are come from before us, and those will live on forever before after us. I think those are all just things I really like a lot. You know, it was like whenever the CD had a big run too. Do you remember when the CDs were hot? CD.
Yeah. What CDs?
Yeah, CD's nuts, guys. You know what I mean?
There
Like
we
the
go.
whole
There
time.
we go. Okay.
You can
Now
get
I'm just playing along.
Do you know? Did now AJ? I think Bofa was a big player for Ohio State, wasn't he? Wasn't Bofa a big time player for Ohio State?
I have no idea, man.
Who's Bofa?
Bofa D's nuts. You know what I mean?
There you go. So
Jerry-
you got to help the
Jerry,
guy out.
thank you for doing that, Jerry. We're
you
on
gotta be-
Skype too. AJ could see that I was trying to do that, and he just fucking refused, and I respect that.
Well, I refuse because I think I've said this, that the D's nuts thing is fine. Like, it was good in this context, what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a locker room or you're around 10 guys and they do it and 9 guys fall on the ground laughing and literally think that George Carlin came back and told one of his greatest bits ever, that's when cool. You got
No,
me.
you're
It's
wrong.
not-
I think
it's
you're
literally-
wrong, AJ.
It's not knee slapping funny though.
Yeah,
It's really
you're
not.
wrong though. I think you're wrong though.
I guess I am. If I'm the minority,
You know why
if
though?
nine
What I've
guys-
realized.
If
though,
nine are
you're a
nine are
selfish
laughing
guy.
and
Now,
one's
listen.
not,
So
I'm wrong.
You probably like beer pong more than flip cup too. You seem like a selfish guy.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Yeah, you don't like the team
serious?
environment. You don't like the team environment because the D's Nuts thing is very much a team-oriented thing. It is a group of friends teaming up against one innocent person. One innocent person is about to be at risk. It's like the Colts have something. I can't even say it, but there's this like the D's Nuts thing. Just it's a way to bring people together. You know, it's just one of those moments that people will cherish forever and ever in locker rooms and other conversations, just because it feels good to catch a guy in his weakest point and have 9 people go ahead and laugh at him for it. That's why it's great, AJ, because it's a team building thing, just like Flip Cup, where it's 5-on-5. It's a full court operation. It's not 2 people playing 2 people while everybody else is watching. This is an entire party drinking together and celebrating wins and losses as one as they come and go. That's the difference, AJ. That's the difference between people that enjoy D's Nuts and don't enjoy D's Nuts, is they don't care if only a limited amount of people are having a good time. They don't like the team aspect, and that's what D's Nuts is, AJ.
Thank you for explaining it.
I feel like I went on a good rant there. I'm real proud of me. Right? I was like in the middle of like one of those feature film motion picture speeches right there. You know,
Like in the middle of a Ray Lewis pump up speech with music playing.
Exactly. So I felt like when he was in his fucking garage. Tonight, we will take their soul. Yeah, with their soul.
What we need is D's Nuts. Like if he
Now,
worked one of those into it, I would have paid attention.
If Ray got like the
A whole team.
then it'd be great. Then it'd be amazing. I agree, and it would just be Ray laughing at 53 players.
Where do we stand on Gronkowski's 69 jokes, by the way? Because
He's a child. We all know he's a child, but I laugh.
I laugh too, just because I think every time he hears one, he thinks it's like the first time.
Yeah, I think he's
Like, I think
genuinely
it's always fresh in
entertained.
his mind.
Yeah, I think he's genuinely entertained by it, so it makes me genuinely entertained by it. I think that is a big, real thing. Because his eyes, I watch enough Dr. Phil and Bull on CBS, which is written by Doc, that I can pretty much tell everything now. You know, I've watched enough TV, CSI. I can tell when people are genuinely lying or whatever. But I feel like his eyebrows even raise, like his cheeks perk up. Like he is genuinely excited about a good 69 joke. And you can't help but love that, I think.
And I think part of it is he has like the memory of like a goldfish, you know, which lasts like 5 seconds. So I think he doesn't remember the most recent 69 jokes, so it's totally fresh in his mind. Like, all right, this week, Rob Ninkovich tweeted out a picture, put it on Instagram of himself as a kid wearing his youth football jersey to his number 69 and linked Gronk to it. And I guarantee you, when Gronk saw it, he went, "Oh my God, 69! That's awesome!"
Yeah,
like,
the whole Gronk family, not just Rob. Yeah, the whole family was like, ah.
They're in the bathroom together doing crossies, laughing about it. How about Ninkovich with the 69 show? Oh my God, I couldn't believe that he did that.
I love that family, by the way.
Oh, they're pissed. You knew from the second he was drafted, and they all formed a circle and just started saying Gronk, 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 and he like found a Patriots helmet and ran up on stage with it. And I just said, there's something special about these people. These are going to be blogs that will write themselves.
What is their
And I haven't been
pissa?
wrong.
What their pissa? Their pissa.
Did I say?
Their pissa?
Yeah,
Did I
they're
say pissa?
pissa.
Yeah, wicked pissa.
Their wicked pissa?
Yep. Yeah. It's That's the asshole coming out in me. That was me in an unguarded moment, fellas.
No, but what does that mean? What is it with their wicked pissa?
It just means really good. Yeah,
Wicked
that's a
pissa.
thing. That's not me putting on.
I thought you meant something could be. So I've never heard it in this context. So I always assumed that,
God.
like, I didn't know a human could be pissa, like human, like Gronk pissa. Like, am I saying that right? I knew.
Yeah, you're saying it exactly right, and it just means really good. It's a compliment. I kid you not.
I like that, Jerry. I think you're pissa.
Yeah,
I think you're a pissa, dude.
thinking about you too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Wicked
I'm
pissa.
I'm a guy who lives a mile away from one intersection that has 2 Dunkin' Donuts in it. I can't. I'm not making that up. On the same side of the road.
How come Mark Wahlberg's in everyone, and why aren't you? You know, like, why is Mark Wahlberg casted as every Bostonian? I'm not happy about it. Jerry Thornton deserves it.
Have you seen one of the great SNL little sketches when it's Casey Affleck and the Dunkin' Donuts deal?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
It's like it's only like 2.5 minutes. He's great in it. He's a great actor. I know he has a little sketchy run-ins with some females right before.
Yeah, he's had his issues. Lord knows. We don't want to be doing that in this day and age. God knows. I'll give you a better one. Seth Meyers did the Boston movie. It was a movie trailer for the Boston movie, and it's just.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, that's so spot on because it's exactly how it sounds to us. You know, it's like Martin Sheen saying he's a good cop. He's a cop who comes from a family of cops. His father was a cop, and that's how you win Oscars now. You do exactly that. And to me, like I can never hear that accent without cringing, and then I know I have one. So I can't listen to my shit.
Just own it, Jerry. It's all right.
Yeah. While we're waiting for Pat to take a pee, by the way, are you pumped up about this Rough and Ready thing? You can be ordering that?
Yeah. Rough and Rowdy, yeah. December 15th, right, Jerry?
Yep. I'm sorry for mispronouncing that. That was my Massachusetts accent. It's if you've been following Barstool Sports for a while, I'm sure certain events stick out in your mind. Everyone has the personal favorite moments, and there's not that much overlap among them due to the pure volume of content put out over the years. But one event is on everyone's list. It's on there because it's nothing like anyone has ever seen before. This event, of course, is the Rough and Rowdy. December 15th, you're exactly right, Mr. Hawk. Step back into the ring with the natives of West Virginia as they settle ruthless personal feuds, slight disagreements, or just prove that they're the best brawler in the backwoods. Remember the thrill you got from a fight back when you were a kid? I'm guessing you didn't fight a lot as a kid, right? I'm guessing you were bigger than everyone else, and you didn't have to.
I wasn't bigger, but I didn't have to too much. Stay out of it.
I learned how to avoid them through an old trick that I called screaming and begging and just turtling on the ground, and everyone would just take pity on me. Well, take that, put it in front of thousands of rednecks thirsty for blood, and lace up the gloves for the most unique production that'll ever grace your screen, all commentated by El Prez Dave Portnoy. In the main event, Barstool's own Dylan Tex Stone will look to avenge his debut loss at the Rough and Rowdy against his longtime competitor and pardon my take producer Henry Lockwood. Tension has been building for almost 12 months between these two fighters, and there's so much bad blood between them. I don't know if it'll last around. Now, I don't know what you're thinking. Times are tough, and you don't know if you could afford the usual $99.99 price of a boxing pay-per-view right around the holiday season, but we've got you covered. Rough and Rowdy 1 is available for only $9.99.
What?
When we say $9.99, that's not $99.99. That's $9.99. That's $10. That's less than a beer for you and your buddies, and it will be the best entertainment you're going to have the holiday season. Now, you do not want to miss this. Order anytime because the day of the order ahead of time. Excuse me, because the day of price will be $14.99, and who needs to throw away $5 when you don't need to? So you can get the information. It's on roughandrowdybrawl.com on iTunes. I'm psyched for this. This is a whole new venture for Barstool, man.
This is going to be fucking
continue to take over
awesome.
the world. This is the one area that we have yet to conquer.
I was with Hank all week, who will be fighting in that on December 15th. And this guy is just getting training sessions in out of the middle of nowhere. We were on the road. We stopped at a Taco Bell to eat. He whipped out the fucking jump rope in the drive-thru and was just doing it while we were sitting in line going through. He's shadow boxing at all times. He got trained by Chris Lytle when he was out here, MMA UFC fighter. This is going to be a fight of the century. One guy's going to have a skullet, and that guy is going to get his head knocked off of his fucking body by a guy named Hank, who is the producer of the #1 sports podcast on earth, which is Pardon My Take. It's going to be a fight where meth heads are battling against other meth heads. There's going to be people you have no idea why they're even on this earth fighting against each other. There's going to be ring girls that El Presidente is going to put into a fantastic fashion. It's going to make you feel good about your life. And the main event is going to have a purse of up over $15,000, $20,000 for the winner. This is a big ass purse. There's a lot of money on the line. They're going to be going hard, and I cannot wait to watch it. If you do not watch Rough and Rowdy on December 15th, you are doing life wrong, and you need to change it immediately and watch Rough and Rowdy on December 15th. Everything's great. It's magic. It's low quality fighting. That's what you need to know. When you watch a bar fight, everybody turns their head. They're like, oh shit, there's a bar fight going on. You always check it out. It's like that, but back to back to back to back to back, with the final one being a gigantic, no holds barred, emotional hatred bar fight for up towards the $15,000 to $20,000. I mean, it's just going to be an awesome night.
Have either one of you ever boxed? Even just dicking around, just having fun?
Yeah, I went to like Chris Lytle's gym. He has a gym here in Indianapolis that's in a rough spot, rough neighborhood, and it's in like the basement. It's a grungy basement. And a lot of the guys here at the office were heading over there, and Matt Matrione was training for a fight with Fedor over there. So I went and did some rolling, jiu-jitsu rolling. I tapped out, I think, like 9 times in 2 minutes. It was a real good run. And then we did some shadow boxing, and I would just get punched in the face. It was good. Yeah, I've done a little bit of it, but it's terrible cardiovascular. It's so hard. I don't know how they do it.
AJ, have you ever done it? Even just a little?
No, I mean, yeah. When I was little, we had boxing gloves and headgear. We'd box in the basement a decent amount. But I've trained a little bit with this underground fighter here that fought in a bunch of little low-level MMA fights.
Do you agree with me and Pat? It's the most physically taxing thing that you can do. Like, I've done it just a little bit. Like, my brother is a black belt. He used to have a karate studio, and we had gloves. And, all right, no hitting each other in the head, but let's try it. And after 5 minutes of that, you can barely lift your arms up. And these guys, I mean, as much as they're training, I don't think anything can prepare you for that, short of it being just your entire lifestyle.
That's
no joke, man.
That's why Mayweather knew he was going to win, though. Like, that's why every boxing person or any fighting person was like, yeah, McGregor has no chance in this fight. I'm like, how do you don't know? Well, we've only watched boxing for like the last 30 years of our lives. You're right. We don't know. Because the rope-a-dope thing is a real thing. Like, just outlasting people is an actual boxing strategy. I thought that was just Homer Simpson. I didn't know that was like real life. He's like, yeah, he's just going to last longer than him. And the motherfucker almost made it. McGregor almost made it the whole goddamn way. And then it just got to the point where he was dead and it was over. It's like, yep, you're dead. Now it's over. And that's just kind of how boxing goes. And I think that will not happen in Rough and Rowdy. There will be no waiting around. There will be no waiting for somebody to get tired. There is a first round knockout looking to be had in every single fight on December 15th at Rough and Rowdy.
Awesome. Well, fellas, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned a coach has got some splaining to do. Let's what they do in radio call paying off that tease. Andy Reid is, I think he's in some trouble. As much as he seemed rock solid coming into the year, he gives up the play calling. Okay, good move, sign of an emotionally mature man. And the coordinator who takes it over produces 2 touchdown drives, like puts up 30 plus points. They lose anyway. For the life of me, I could never see this team going into free fall the way they have. They were 5-0. They're 1-6 since then. Weirdly, they're still like qualifying for the playoffs as it stands. They lead the division in a horrible division, but that's a terrible, terrible look for Andy Reid.
Everybody knows we're getting into Andy Reid season, right? We're about to get into Andy Reid season. It's only a matter of time before that offense starts. But could you imagine after those first couple weeks and watching Alex Smith and Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt and Andy Reid happy and Colquitt punting the ball beautifully, where you would say in about 9-10 weeks from now, people are going to be asking whether or not Andy Reid's going to be the coach next year in Kansas City. You would never be able to guess it, but they are fucked right now. Travis Kelce still got a good celebration in today with the kiss to the fans and all that shit, but I don't know how they lose that game, and it's just, how do you fix it? There has to be something going on in that building. I have no idea what it is. They took a direct left turn. We talked about it last week. I just don't know what could it possibly be. I have no idea. I have no idea how they're losing so much.
Well, I mean, to me, a sign of a coach that's not getting the job done is when guys just start losing just discipline. I mean, like simple shit that everybody knows. Like, all right, for instance, they make a stop in the red zone. Jets kick a field goal, and Benny Logan jams into the center, and it's like every casual housewife with a friggin' fantasy team knows you can't slam into the center. He does it anyway. So now it's first down. They get a penalty on them in the end zone, and who was it? Was it Steven Nelson picks up the flag and throws it into the stands? Like, you don't do that for a coach that you respect, unless I'm completely out of my mind, AJ.
It depends, man. Yeah, usually it doesn't happen for, I don't know if it was Steven Nelson, but what's crazy
Peters
in their game, yeah, Peters, right?
Yeah, Marcus Peters.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, you know what Steve Nelson did? He was the one that was bear hugging Austin Safarian Jenkins. So, okay, he had a different stupid mistake, but they had about 27 plays inside the 5-yard line in the same sequence because these guys just couldn't control themselves.
Well, Alex Smith throws for 366 and 4 touchdowns and no picks, and they lose the game. So obviously their defense gave up 38 to the New York Jets. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and that's a good defense.
I think you found the problem when
what
your
are you talking
defense
about?
plays that bad.
McCown. What are you saying about McCown?
I'm not saying anything about McCown. I'm saying I don't care if you're playing Tom Brady and you give up 38. You're still
AJ. It sure sounded like you were saying something about Josh McCown right there. It sounded like you took some shots at Josh McCown, huh? How about that?
Absolutely not. I was taking. Well, no, I'm not taking shots at anyone with the Jets. I don't. The funny thing is when people try to say, "Oh, they're tanking." Okay, yeah, the players are tanking. Yep, that's what they're going to do. They're going to go lay it out there because the players care about having the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, look, suck for luck. You remember that whole thing? We were in the middle of that. Like, are you guys tanking so you can draft Andrew Luck number 1 next year? I'm like, I don't know. Is Andrew Luck going to pay my fucking salary if I get cut right now? That's all I give a fuck about. What are you talking about?
But do you think ownership tanked?
They can, yeah. They can try to.
For sure.
In your case with Luck, I mean, I know that no one wants to sit there and say, I'll lose so that I can have some kid come out of college and steal someone else's job or whatever. But do you think that
there were some defensive guys that were very open about some of the choices of play calls and situations? So they'd be like, this didn't make any sense. Like, they made this call out of nowhere. There was a couple things of that, right? So maybe the front office got a hold of some coordinators, maybe, who knows, late in the year, whenever it was getting close. But I have no idea what happened. I honestly, I thought I was going to break the record for most punts in a season, so I was pretty excited about that. But it was just other than that, I don't know anything about it. But do I think...
Is that a good record to have, though?
No, not at all. But if you're gonna suck, I mean, let's get it. I think the Bengals had it. I believe the Bengals. We were 2 or 3 quarters away from getting it.
Huber, that left foot really threw people off. The left-footed punter.
Yeah, you know what they say? You should only have one of those because it's so rare. You know what I mean?
You know what? I thought of you this week, Pat, and not just when I was pleasuring myself as usual, but Belichick doesn't like to answer questions unless you strike a nerve with him, and usually that's a special teams thing. And somebody asked him about Nate Ebner, the Ohio State rugby player that they drafted. He's a special teams guy.
PP.
He got hurt, out for the year. Someone asked him about Ebner, and he gave a 680-word answer about personal protectors. I had no idea.
It's a big ordeal, man. Because if you get a punt blocked, you're probably going to lose a game. Stats are at 85% or something like that. And every single time you go out to punt, especially when it's 4th and 5 or more, the other team has drawn up some exotic rush just so they can try to block a punt and steal some field position or steal some points. And the PP has to like sniff it out, has to call the protection and make sure it doesn't get completely fucked. And then after that, they're like a third gunner running down the field. PP is a very important person. I mean, it's a big ordeal. Terrible nickname. I mean, PP is a tough thing to call yourself, like with a straight face and a solid face. But for me, the PP was a gigantic factor. Obviously, the long snapper and also the left wing. Like, he's like my blindside blocker, basically. And that was Jack Doyle for the last 5 years before he became a rich tight end. When I knew him, he was just my blindside guy, me and Jack Doyle. And now he's a rich guy. But the PP, the blindside wing, and a long snapper are a big deal in the whole punt operation. Obviously, the gunners are helping out there, too.
Do you miss having a personal protector, or do you have a personal protector in your life? Is like Vibbs your personal protector? Or like,
I'll tell you what, Vibbs is the Warhammer for sure. I think he needs his own personal protector now with how big he's getting. It's absurd signing autographs at restaurants and stuff, old Jeff Vibber. But it's like
now that he's doing the videos for Heartland?
Yeah, exactly. He's big time now. I mean, he's a big ordeal. But the PP, it was a good relationship between the old PP and I because, I mean, we had to communicate. We had some checks that we went to. It was a big ordeal back there, but I think losing it is, especially if you have a good guy who can pick up a double team. So, like, sometimes they're shooting 2 people through the A gap, and the personal protector has to pick up both of them. And if you get a guy that can do that well, I mean, you're saving a lot of blocked punch, which is saving a lot of points, which is making it easier for your team to lose.
Well, punt team, Pat, it's all about trust. Can you trust that guy? And you never want you never want guys that are like questionable anywhere on the punt team, or like that you aren't consistent and understand it, and rational thinkers. Yeah. That's one thing I always knew. And with punt, that's what it's all about. Hey, if we do our job, they're not blocking the punt. It's not rocket science.
Nope.
But if one guy decides to short step and doesn't kick slide all the way back, doesn't do it, bam, you're going to create a
and also counting. So counting's a big ordeal. So like whenever you're the wing, you have the 1 or whoever becomes the 1. And then if you're the guard, you have the 3 whoever becomes the 3. Then you got to send the snapper either left or right. And then you and the guard are now working together on a twist in the middle. It's like there's just, as long as you know what's coming, you have to think a little bit. There's a little bit of thinking that has to happen, but it's just a lot of whether or not you're going to remember it in the situation. That's a big deal. I had a PP that I knew was going to be terrible. And lo and behold, first punt he was in, fucking blocked punt, tore my meniscus. See you later. Here we go. Thanks so much. Yeah, he'll be great, the coach said. I said, I don't think he knows the calls. I don't even think he knows the calls. No, but he's an athlete. He'll figure it out. Okay, good. Bing, bang, boom. Well, okay.
You don't need athletes on punt team. On punt protection, to cover the punt, yes, but punt protection, it doesn't matter if you're athletic or not.
No,
but according to Belichick, that's what the PP does. It's like he called them the quarterback. Says he's the one who's making the calls and he's reading the return.
We had a guy
team.
who didn't.
I just thought he was just a meat shield. I thought it was just a guy who stands there and maybe occasionally fields the short punt.
That has nothing to do though. That has nothing to do with athletic ability. Making the calls, setting it, letting everybody know which way the center is going. Oh, and then by the way, if they're stemming their look, you have to change everything too. You watch them. You'll see a guy take control of the situation. He'll walk up, change the protection, move. You'll zone this side, man this side, whatever. That's not athletic ability. It definitely helps when he's covering, but no, it's all about making sure we're in the right look.
Yeah, there's a couple guys we had for PP that they just kind of got thrown in there last minute, and they didn't seem to be the most good at memory. So it was one of the situations where I was making calls during the game to the PP to call out to everybody. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like a kind of a cool thing. I felt like I was fucking Omaha. I felt like I was a big deal, you know. It was a pretty cool situation.
Hey Jerry, I don't know if you know the old Seahawks beat your Eagles 24-10. They kind of manhandled them.
That fucks me over.
Did they really? It was tied at the half. What was the final?
24-10 Seahawks. Russell Wilson was running for his life all day, but making plays.
He is playing out of his mind, and I've always liked Russell Wilson. If I was drawing a short list, 5 quarterbacks in this league that I could live with, he's definitely on that. They had a graphic in the first half that he's accounted for 82% of their yards this year.
Yeah, he was a one-man band. They had him playing drums.
How do you think the rest of the offense feels about that graphic?
That's bulletin board material right there. You see that? That is bulletin board material. That is actual. That would come up in actual conversation in a meeting. Oh, did you see what Sunday Night Football said about Russ? Like, that would be something that would come up in conversation. That's more bulletin board material than like somebody being like, those sons of bitches over there are a bunch of assholes.
He's guaranteed to win against us. We're going to have to,
for real. Pat, that could cause some strife if the O linemen and the receivers and everybody else on the offense, if they found out that Russ like posed for those pictures, they had him like playing the guitar, singing
for real.
But it looks like they could easily just put that together. I don't think he posed for it, but if they find out that he knew about that, or especially if he posed for that and he knew they were going to run that graphic, I promise you his teammates will be upset about that.
Oh, yeah. There's already been rumors of a huge disconnect on that team between, the players that still resent the fact that they, lost the Super Bowl on Pete Carroll's stupid call and not giving the ball to Lynch or whatever, and feel like there's two sets of rules. Like last year, the defense played great. Offense couldn't score points, and they said there's like Wilson's not held accountable. Like Carroll will kiss his ass and do whatever. And so, yeah, I think the 82% would hack some guys off.
Well, you got to keep winning so you can just sweep it under the rug.
Sweep it under. Nobody even knows. Everybody hates each other until that first loss comes again. Then it's all back on the table.
And you know who's especially angry about it? Doug Baldwin. Because I like Doug Baldwin because he's mad about everything. If his kid brought home a drawing he made in school, he'd go, that's beautiful. I'm going to put that on the refrigerator. This is a beautiful gesture by you. I'm going to use this as motivation. Because he's just a little ball of hate. And I love that about him. But I don't know if that team is capable of making a run. I don't know how able they're gonna go deep. They were the wild card coming in, right? I'm trying to think. The Rams won, so the
Rams are 9-3.
They're not going to catch the Rams.
No, but they're in a good spot for the while. I mean, they could. And the Rams are 9-3. Seattle's 8-4.
I just saw Richard Sherman celebrating on the sideline in a GIF. I think he's happy they won. So that's good news for the relationship in the locker room. I feel like Richard Sherman probably carries a pretty heavy voice in there.
He's out for the year anyway, though, so it doesn't matter. Really.
Yeah, but I still feel like he's probably a pretty influential person in there, I assume.
Yeah, that's true. He's not scared to fight with anybody or speak his mind on the sidelines, that's for sure.
Is he on one of them rollers? Them little rollers?
I think he is on the little roller. You ever use that, Pat? I had to use that at foot surgery.
Were you good at it? Were you good at it? There's some dudes that are real fucking good at it.
I fell multiple times trying to turn if you get off on two wheels, and then my kids always want to play on it, and they still, now that it's in their playroom, my kids use it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's good for luck or not, but like I think
Come on now.
I always used to use people's little devices. I enjoyed that little one knee roller though. There were some people that were real smooth with it though. There were some guys that knew how to lean with it, rock with it, and they were much more successful in getting around in tight quarters in that thing.
All right. On that note, now that Philly has lost, is Minnesota the best team in that conference? Because they were insane today. Like Julio Jones last week goes for 253 yards. I think today he had 2 catches. Xavier Rhodes just shut him down. They hold, the defense the offense that had like 500 points last year to 6 points. And I don't know how much of that is just Atlanta the struggle for them is real, or maybe that Minnesota is just that goddamn good.
That place will be upside down for the Super Bowl if Minnesota makes it. The Viking chant skull thing would be awesome for the NFL to showcase. But Case Keenum is out here playing football in a high fashion. Yep. What a player. He's got a good little beard too. Looks like a guy who is not an NFL quarterback. He does not look like an NFL quarterback, but he's just out there balling the fuck out. Good for him.
I think, isn't that the one thing that makes people scared about the Vikings in the playoffs? Like, when is the as Jerry would say, when is the other shoe going to drop and he doesn't just play out of his mind?
Who, Case Keenum? I think he's.
When do I use that cliche?
I think he's going to ball forever. I don't think he's going to stop.
I'm not saying he's not, but their defense is unbelievable, which is a big reason they're 10-2 and why they can go deep in the playoffs. You just wonder. I don't know. I hope Case Keenum is that guy. I like him. I love how he plays as well. But I don't know. I really don't.
I respect Mike Zimmer's glasses game too. He's got those things that look like shop class glasses, like they're not
He's
even
only got one eye,
basically. They're just protective eyewear.
It's like he's playing like the old people you see walking with the big wraparounds. I always said when we were young, it said, "Oh, he's playing virtual reality."
You know what? On a related note, I've got one eye that's pretty much normal, and the other one's really bad. And I asked my optometrist. I want your input on this. I asked him if I could get a monocle.
Oh, respect for sure. Do that.
Right? Wouldn't I look the balls with a monocle? Like, wouldn't you just respect me if I'm? Yeah, you're in line behind me at Dunkin' Donuts. You turn around. I've got the monocle and the string hanging down. I just think that's instant respect. That would make me look like an aristocrat instead of just a guy with bad eyes.
I'm thinking about getting it. Is it possible? Like, how does it work? I just put it on my cheek.
We don't make any. And I go, can I get them? Can I order one?
On Amazon. Go on Amazon. You can get it.
A monocle?
Yeah, you can get anything.
How does it work though?
You got to pinch your eye down, right, and just clamp it in there. Pinch your.
I think I'm gonna do 2 of them.
Orbital sockets. Just clench it.
I think I'm gonna do a binacle.
You definitely do. You would definitely
have those. It's called glasses.
No. But a binacle. No. Two monocles, not glasses.
Again, those are all you're missing is the ear things and the bridge over the nose.
Yeah, those would be glasses. Yeah, I'm doing 2 monocles.
And I have those, and they don't give me the respect that I feel a monocle would.
Yeah, do 2 monocles.
Yeah, like no one's ever looked at a guy with a monocle and said he's got no class at all. They
Never.
Go, he probably comes from good stock, probably very distinguished breeding.
Yeah, he fucks. That guy definitely has sex. That guy, like AJ Hawk does, 52 weeks out of the year, no bye weeks, no days off. How many little choppers and pistols can we create in any given moment? Although we only impregnate 1 month out of the year, we're gonna try the other 11. Let's go.
That's the mating season in the Hawk House.
So Jerry,
that's where you pull the goalie.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So Jerry said I was speaking to my optometrist, which is your eye doctor. Yeah. Why do people say my optometrist, my lawyer, my doctor? Why is it my? Like, I don't have a lawyer. I don't have a doctor. I haven't been to the eye doctor and the optometrist in 30 years. But why is it my? Like, so Jerry, I bet you have. Like, when I was talking to my lawyer. Well, what am I on trial for rape? Why do I have a lawyer?
I don't. Well, when I'm on trial for rape, I go to my eye doctor, which is I don't know.
Jared Fogle did the same thing.
I guess because I don't randomly go to when you.
So why wouldn't you say I was talking to the eye doctor?
Or an optometrist. He wants to know how deep is your relationship with this motherfucker to be calling it yours. And if this person wasn't available, would you go to another one? You would.
Oh yeah, if he gets hit by lightning tomorrow and I need glasses, I'm going there. But you don't pull off the side of the road and just randomly go to get your teeth cleaned. You don't just pull into drive.
I do that in a mall.
I go, Jerry.
My dentist.
I go to the dentist.
Oh wow!
Is it the same guy all the time?
Yes.
So it's your dentist.
You could refer to him as mine.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd be offended.
We're talking about your dentist when we talk about that guy. Right now, we are currently talking about your dentist. So that is a my situation for you.
No, it's not. It's not mine. I don't have him on retainer.
Yeah, he's yours. He's your fucking dentist.
Stupid. Whatever. Jimmy Garoppolo won the game. Jerry, you're so juiced, aren't you?
I really am. Yeah, absolutely. A star is born. How about last week? And I don't think we even talked about it. CJ Beathard goes down and they cheer for him. And okay, that's in bad taste. But a couple of years ago,
that's never okay. It's never okay.
Oh, absolutely. But there's a columnist in Boston who, when I want to say it was Ryan Mallett went down in Houston a couple of years ago, and they were cheering for him, who wrote, "This is the fault of the internet." Because people now anonymously can just troll everybody, and that's why they cheer when they get hurt. Right. It's Twitter's fault. Because, nobody ever used to do shit like that back in the day. Like Jackie Robinson had smooth sailing all the way. Look, it's wrong. It's terrible. It proves that people don't hate CJ Beathard as much as they're psyched about Garoppolo in San Fran. And he went out, played his ass off, although let's not forget that Robbie Gould is the one who actually won the game.
Let's go, Robbie. I sent him a DM, no answer, hasn't even read it. Good. I'm trying to get him on the Pat McAfee show. I think he's turning me down. Awesome. No big deal. 5 for 5 against a team that cut you right in your face in your living room. Here's a teabag Firefox sign. You got it. 15-14. Robbie Gould beats the Chicago Bears. What a revenge game, revenge porn for that guy. He's going to watch that for the next 20 years of his life. His family's talking about that right meow in every holiday from now on until the end of time. Hey, Robbie, you remember when that guy cut you and then you came back and scored every point to beat them? Do you remember when that happened? That's going to be a gold conversation forever. And you got to be happy for him. Got to be happy for the guy.
And I was the biggest fan of the Colts in the world today because I wanted the 3 quarterbacks the Patriots started the year with to all win games today, but it wasn't in the card. The Wolf Pack, they call themselves. Now it's
original name.
Yep.
Well, it's a pretty original name.
But you know what? Garoppolo made himself more money today. He's cashing in. He'll probably get franchised and then sign a long-term deal. And nobody is still even sure if he can play or not. But
nobody has a clue.
You get a W on your resume thanks to your kicker, and that's all anyone's going to give a shit about.
What a good flight home for Robbie. Just think about that fucking flight home. I bet you old Jimmy G is coming to talk to Robbie G. I bet you there's because what a day for him. Just his last one was what, like a 14-yarder too, right in the middle, like nice. And
he went crazy at the sideline of Chicago for like a minute straight.
By the way, a lot of pent up emotion in there, I bet, coming out at that moment about everything. And what a day, though.
Hey Pat, you know John Ryan, the punter in Seattle?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know.
Little ginger. So he was in Green Bay
big ginger.
early on back in the day, and we played. He got cut at the end of camp, maybe. No, in the middle of a season, I think it was, for some reason. And we knew he could boom the ball, but I think it was his get-off time wasn't. He took 3 steps. We wanted him to take 2. I don't know the exact specifics.
Yeah.
We played him in a preseason game, and I love John Ryan, and it was hilarious. He punted, he bombed a few balls, and after he bombed one, or he did the old coffin corner in the preseason game, he turned to our sideline and tried to find the GM and point and yell at him for a minute straight.
Not a good look for the brand.
It was awesome. Good. It was hilarious. And John's like the quietest dude ever, just shredded, just ginger Canadian from Regina, Canada. That's the college he went to.
Rob Gronkowski just started laughing.
Yeah, but it's funny watching guys. I thought of when I saw Robbie today make the game winner, I thought of John Ryan when I was standing on their sidelines in the 3rd quarter of a preseason game, going crazy, trying to find our GM on the sidelines. And I don't think he was on the sidelines, and it was just great.
Biggest story of the week we haven't even talked about. Want to hit it before we start to wrap this thing up. And I feel like I'm living in bizarro world about, to me, the gross overreaction to them benching Eli Manning. But I feel like I'm on an island. Like, everyone's up in arms. Michael Strahan is
quite
furious.
A virtue signaling situation.
Like, he's okay. I get he's a big deal. He's won.
No, but everybody, it has become the situation where if you come out any negativity about it, you're not a football guy, you don't understand football, because it is such a fucked up situation where if Eli was thinking about retiring, like, you could do him the justice of just letting him finish his fucking career out and ending it, right? I mean, it's a pretty big ordeal there. But whenever it's just like, if they were to view it as strictly just a business decision, Eli has definitely struggled in recent history. He has definitely struggled. So benching him for Geno Smith would be okay, but I don't think I think when it comes to certain people and when some people, right now we hold no value in people really anymore. What have you done for me lately for everything? But I think with some people, for some fan bases, Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts, Eli Manning, I think, was viewed in the same regard with some Giants fans who are also very big microphone fans. So they just would have appreciated some respect for a guy that they held in high regards, although the guy doing it to him is a guy that they hold in very low regard. So that's one of those situations. If it was Tom Coughlin, it's completely okay, just for future reference. If it was Tom Coughlin in those fans' eyes, it's completely okay. But since it's this new guy who's failing and looks the way he looks, it's a no-fly zone.
Well, no, it makes no sense to do it.
Yep.
If you're benching him because you have drafted Pat Mahomes in the first round because you want to see what our future may look like, that's when it would be okay. You can put him down if you feel like his production is not there. But when you bench him for Geno Smith, when everyone knows, they can all agree that he is not the future, that's why I think it was so confusing and made no sense. He wasn't going to – they're not able to – they can't make the playoffs, and you're not getting a look at what this young guy is that you drafted. So it didn't make any sense to me. It really didn't.
I guess it just seems to me like, so no one respects Geno Smith, fine, but
it's the fact that he's not some young guy that you think is going to be your future.
It's not study. Like preseason happens so people can see how people act in somewhat of a game condition. If you're trying to look at the future of your team, would you not want to see if you need to look somewhere else because your young guy can't handle a game situation? That's the thought. Where Geno already has film. Now, granted, what if Geno has been balling in practice and nobody knows? Nobody has a clue about that. Nobody knows if Geno has been balling in practice. But you would think if you're going to do this, you would put in the person that you might have an investment in or somebody you might think about for the future. And who knows? Maybe Geno Smith's that, though. Who the fuck knows? Maybe he has a great... Drew Stanton got himself a job in Arizona because of what he did in practice for the Colts. But Bruce Arians because he balled out. So, I mean, who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Pat, I feel you're the only other person besides myself I've heard say that Manning hasn't been good for a long, long time. Like that hasn't
Recent
been part
history,
of the discussion.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yes, those 2 Super Bowls, those are to his credit. Those are on his permanent record. They were also a long time ago. Since the Super Bowl that I will not mention its name, part 2, since then, he's taken them to the playoffs once, and they lost 38-13. Like, in 2013, he had 18 touchdowns and 27 interceptions. His passer rating was 35th in the league that has 32 teams, and people are talking like he's 1999 Kurt Warner. You know what I mean? That's something that
I agree.
is just breaking my brain on this. Like this isn't the Niners moved off of Joe Montana. Okay, yeah, they had Steve Young. I get that, but time and tide waiteth for no man, except Eli Manning. They say we're 2-9, and it's we're benching him, and it's the end of the world.
Real quick, if you have never thrown an interception in the NFL, say I. Eli threw 27 in one season. You said.
Yeah, 3 times
he's insane.
Thrown over 20. He's led the league in 3 categories in his career, and they were all interceptions in a season.
What was up with that offense? Like a couple years ago, they were on like the opening game, and he was giving all these signals like below. Do you remember it was like 2 years ago where they put in this new offense and they were saying he was doing too much? It was like, I feel like he's gone through a couple different offensive schemes here in these last few years, and he hasn't. I think they've been trying to find one that suits him well, and he hasn't done well in a couple different situations here in the last, I don't know, it feels like 3 years, 4 years.
Well, that's what got McAdoo the job. McAdoo was the offensive coordinator, and they say when he first came in, year 1, he like revived Eli's career. So that's what catapulted him to the head coaching gig. And they have not had that success, or Eli has not had that success.
I thought he got the job because he doesn't do well in the calm weather. He thrives in a storm.
Wow. What a
He had a good one today, too, is I'm going to keep coaching here as long as my key card works.
Good line.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true, man. That's how it goes. All of a sudden, he'll try to check in maybe Monday morning, and it turned red. I guess I'll just go get in my car.
I'll just leave my iPad here. I'll get on my way. Thanks for everything. Just mail me my severance or whatever you mean.
Freaking disaster. All right, well, fellas, I think we've got this thing in about a tidy hour and 45, which is kind of a record for us.
Yeah, good.
Unless there's anything else that I've flaked out on, and I don't think I have. And by the way, shout out again to the guys that do the Laces Out Show pod and Instagram. It's everything they do is gold, and they're getting like tons of viewers. So hit on that. Follow us at both of those. AJ, Pat, anything you guys want to add?
Yeah, Laces Out Show isn't really us, so we don't really care if you follow it, but it's definitely going to be the best content in football that you want to see. Laces Out Show. I want to give a big thanks to the dudes behind the scenes here, Vibs and Ty Schmidt, who edit this thing every Sunday night and fuck up their entire weekly schedule just so we can talk football at the end of a Sunday, which is fantastic. I'm very thankful to have conversations with you, Jerry, and you, AJ, and I can't wait to finish this season out here with Laces Out because it's just starting to get interesting. December football is when it starts to get real. And also December 15th, Rough and Rowdy. You need to download it. You need to get it for $9.99. Watch the fight of all fights. And also Fuego Box. Big shout out to how good of a box you put together. Everybody knows I like a good box, and your hot box is my favorite box of them all. Fuegobox.com/Barstool. All right, that's all I got.
Oh man, good stuff.
All right, fellas. Thanks again for joining us. I'm at Jerry Thornton.